Khloe Kardashian and Scott Disick respond to speculation about him fathering her child. Hi, before we continue, please subscribe to the channel for all Kardashians news and update. Khloe Kardashian recently launched her podcast called Khloe in Wonderland, and in her first episode, she invited someone very close to her, Scott Disick. The two talked openly and humorously about an old rumor that caused quite a stir back in the day. This rumor claimed that Scott Disick, who is her sister Kourtney Kardashian's ex, had gotten Khloe pregnant. It was something many people once believed, and the gossip spread across social media and gossip websites like wildfire. Scott and Khloe have always had a very playful and close relationship, but it has always been based on friendship. During the podcast, Scott recalled how even his late parents, Jeffrey and Bonnie Disick, would hear these crazy stories and call him about them. He joked that they would ask him directly if he had gotten Khloe pregnant. He responded with sarcasm, telling them, "Yes, Dad, I got Khloe pregnant." His dad just replied, "Okay," as if it was nothing new. Scott laughed while telling the story, but Khloe was quick to clear things up for the audience. She said clearly and firmly that he never got her pregnant, putting an end to any speculation before it could start again. Scott, who was in a long relationship with Kourtney Kardashian and has 3 children with her, Mason, Penelope, and Reign, said that back in the late 2000s, rumors about him and the Kardashian sisters were a regular thing. He said that according to those stories, every week he was supposedly getting a different sister pregnant. It didn't matter that it wasn't true, people kept saying it anyway. He made fun of it by asking, "Where are the kids then?" Since obviously, there were no children from these made-up stories. Even after all these years, fans continue to talk about Scott and Khloe's close friendship. Khloe explained during the podcast that when she asked her fans who they wanted as a guest on her show, Scott was the most requested person. But along with that came questions from fans. One of the most common ones was whether she and Scott had ever been romantically involved. People were still wondering if something had ever happened between the two. When she brought it up during the podcast, Scott responded jokingly, but Khloe again made it very clear that nothing like that had ever happened between them. She also mentioned another popular question people ask, why she and Scott aren't married. This one surprised Scott even more. He couldn't believe people thought they should be together just because they're so close. He said he didn't think there was any truth to that kind of talk at all. To him, it was just another example of how people can take a close relationship and twist it into something more for the sake of drama or attention. He said that people look at their bond and assume there must be more going on, but it's just not true. Scott said very clearly that he has children with Khloe's sister, Kourtney, and that automatically makes any romantic connection between him and Khloe impossible. He even called the idea of a romance between him and Khloe psychotic. He admitted that sometimes he jokes around and might say things that are a little too much or sound inappropriate, but that's just how he is. He doesn't mean anything serious by it, and he believes most people who know him should understand that. Khloe and Scott both seem to enjoy talking about the wild rumors they've heard about themselves over the years. They laughed, joked, and made sure people knew the truth. Their goal wasn't just to entertain but also to clear the air. They wanted everyone to know that their relationship has always been based on deep friendship and nothing more. They've been close for many years, and they've supported each other through so many life events, but the rumors about them being more than friends were never true. Khloe didn't hesitate to point out that people are always ready to believe wild stories, especially when it comes to her family. The Kardashians have been in the public eye for so long that gossip about them never really stops. But that doesn't mean everything people hear or read is true. In fact, much of it is far from reality. Scott shared that the tabloids have a habit of exaggerating things or just making them up entirely. He said that once people notice someone spending time with another person, especially someone from a well-known family, they start to assume and create their own stories. According to him, it doesn't matter how innocent or pure the relationship is, people will still find a way to turn it into something controversial or dramatic. That's exactly what happened with him and Khloe. Even though Scott isn't in a romantic relationship with any of the Kardashian sisters anymore, he still has a strong connection with the family, especially because he and Kourtney share 3 children. He and Kourtney may no longer be together as a couple, but they continue to work together very well when it comes to parenting their children. They show that it's possible to remain respectful and loving as co-parents, even after a romantic relationship ends. Scott and Khloe both understand that being public figures means being the subject of false stories and wild assumptions. Over the years, they've grown used to the attention and even learned to laugh about it. Instead of letting it upset them, they now use opportunities like this podcast to talk about the truth and connect with fans in a more real and honest way. Their friendship has lasted for many years, and it's built on trust, laughter, and mutual respect. They've supported each other through breakups, losses, and changes, and that has only made their bond stronger. However, no matter how close they are, they've never crossed any lines, and they both agree that what they share is a beautiful friendship, not a romance. People often don't understand that men and women can be close friends without it turning into something else. That's something Khloe and Scott are trying to show through their openness. They want people to see that friendship alone can be deep and meaningful, and that love comes in many forms, not just romantic ones. By sharing these stories, Scott and Khloe are giving fans a better understanding of who they really are beyond the headlines. They're showing that not everything written or said about them is true and that sometimes the best relationships are the ones built on honesty, laughter, and shared experiences without any romantic involvement. Their ability to talk about awkward or ridiculous topics without getting upset is part of what makes them so relatable to many fans. They don't take themselves too seriously, and they're not afraid to admit when a rumor is just too silly to believe. They laugh about it, move on, and focus on what really matters: family, friendship, and being there for the people they care about. Even though rumors about Scott and Khloe have been around for years, they've never allowed those stories to get in the way of their bond. They continue to be there for each other, and their friendship remains one of the most stable relationships in the Kardashian circle. It's built on real understanding, and that's something you can't fake. At the end of the day, their message to fans is simple: don't believe everything you hear. Just because 2 people are close doesn't mean there's a secret romance going on. Sometimes, friendship is just friendship, and that's more than enough. They want people to celebrate genuine connections and not always jump to conclusions just because someone's famous or in the spotlight. Scott and Khloe's story is a reminder that true friendships can exist even in the middle of fame, rumors, and public pressure. It shows that it's possible to be deeply connected to someone without it becoming something romantic. And perhaps, that's one of the reasons so many fans love them, not just for their honesty, but for showing what real friendship looks like. Thanks for watching. Please do well to share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more Kardashian updates.